oh my God, walk before you run. Don't get greedy. Let those be the 2 lessons for Marvel in 2018. Walk before you run. Don't get greedy.
Come on and visit for any occasion. Don't keep patting down waiting. Comics and conversation. Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics. Keep your local store strong. If it's hard, then it's a job for the challengers. Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics and Conversation in Chicago, this is Contest of Challengers. And now, here are Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
So, Dal, something happened at the store today which is absurd.
Okay.
And before I tell you, and it's visual, so this is bad to do in an audio setting, but I want to get your reaction as it happens.
Okay.
So, the mail came today.
Okay, that's good.
And in the mail, we received a Priority Mail Express envelope. Returned to sender.
Okay.
Returned to challengers. Because the recipient in San Pedro, California, never picked it up. It was unclaimed.
Okay.
So here I'm showing down a Priority Mail envelope that has not the correct postage labels filled out, but typewritten standard mailing labels with Challengers Comics and our address in the return address, and a woman's name from San Pedro, California.
Who I didn't recognize.
Right. And this is not a service we use. We don't use Priority Mail Express.
Yeah.
We also don't use stamps.
No.
This is a $23.75 stamp. That
From
was
St. Louis?
Well, that's just the Gateway Arch is the sticker. The top which is torn off showed that it was $23.75.
Oh, crazy.
So that must be a specific stamp. On it, there's markings of December 28th, as if that's when it's dropped off. The address written on the sides.
For the person who it was supposed to go to.
Yes.
Supposedly.
And then the name, probably of the postman who dropped it off or what have you.
Sure.
So I open it up. It's unclaimed, so it came back to us, the sender. So I open it up, and inside of it is a red envelope sealed with a silver sticker.
Okay.
So just a regular number 10 envelope.
Sure. Like a regular envelope.
Yes.
Like you put a letter in.
So I open that up, and inside is a very fancy piece of stationery, also sealed with
a little sticker.
A sticker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, just a normal sheet of 8.5 by 11 paper, folded 3 times, put in this red envelope.
A little circular sticker to show that it's not been opened.
So I open that,
and
inside is a vacuum-sealed pouch. A silver pouch, about 2 inches by 2.5 inches, and it was vacuum-sealed. With a texture pattern to it.
Yep.
Okay? The whole time, Ashley Challenger's saying, it's anthrax. You know it's anthrax.
I mean, scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you at this point when you see a little packet?
Kind of nervous, but ultimately, like, the weird texture, it honestly felt like a little square piece of plastic. And I'm like, maybe this is a manufactured robot part.
No.
That somehow came to Dow. So I opened this vacuum-sealed pouch, and inside of it is an envelope. A tiny little
envelope.
manila envelope.
Yeah. Like the kind you'd put like a couple buttons in, it looks like.
Yeah. Any guesses what's inside?
0.
Not a single guess.
No.
You have no possible guess.
We're so far beyond my experiences with mail at this point that I couldn't even guess.
Okay, are you ready for this?
At this point, it wouldn't surprise me if inside was a full-size Priority Mail Express envelope. like we've just circled all the way back to the start.
Okay, are you ready for it?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Listener, are you ready? Cocaine.
Hey, cocaine.
A little plastic baggie full of cocaine.
A little plastic bag of coke.
Here's the thing.
Enjoy life.
It's a very tiny bag. Like, this is... You get 3 lines out of this.
I'll take your word for it. Sure.
I'm guessing from the amount of cocaine
That's not
here.
The next part of the story is you and Ashley did 3 lines of cocaine.
No. So, I don't know for a fact this is cocaine.
I mean...
What's your immediate guess when you see this little bag?
I don't... Drugs would be my guess, but I mean, I don't know that I could be more specific than that.
So it looks like...
Something illicit.
It is drugs. It looks like somebody sent... Sorry, I'm shifting. That's why you're getting noise. Somebody used our return address to send to send drugs through the mail.
Wow. Why our address?
No idea why.
Wow.
So, if this is you, and you're at work, and you get a bag of cocaine,
right?
What do?
I call the police.
So, rather than call the police, I called a policeman.
A policeman. That you know, that I... Now I realize, when you were just on the phone earlier, who you're talking to.
I assumed it's a felony to send drugs through the mail.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's certainly, like, probably against the postal code, but beyond that, it's also, like, a Category 1 or 2 drug, probably. Like, that's years in prison.
Sure. So, we were given the correct advice and the steps to take, which we will not be discussing on this podcast.
Sure.
But that's my fun story for today.
Wow, crazy, man.
We got a little bit of cocaine in the mail. Cool. And I looked up the woman...
And someone was using our address, which is...
Yes.
Easily, to me, the most troubling aspect.
Yes.
Is someone basically used our address, which could make us criminally liable and under investigation by the federal authorities. So thanks for that, person. Thank you. Probably worse than the time that someone forged a certificate of authenticity.
Yeah,
probably a little worse.
My mind flashed to that.
Little worse.
Ashley is immediately saying this is dark web drug buying and selling stuff.
Probably.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
But you and I are going to talk more about this when we're not recording.
Neato.
But I thought this was just a story that...
Oh, golly.
I would, since it just happened, I would tip in as a bonus for this week's episode of Contest of Challengers.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for listening, and keep getting us sent to jail.
Hey, can we talk about the X-Men cartoon for a minute?
Okay, sure.
The 1990s X-Men cartoon?
Sure.
I never saw it.
Okay.
I mean, was it good?
Oh, I mean, I was very young when it was on, so I enjoyed it when it was on the air, but I'm sure it's terrible now.
As someone who has lived their life...
In the public eye.
As far as I can remember, being a huge comics and superhero fan.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, now comics are way more than superheroes, but growing up, it was all superheroes.
Sure.
For the most part. And any time there was comic-related things in the public eye, I was all over it.
Yeah, because there's so little of it.
Right. Like
so
those
rumors of, like, them making a movie based on Wolverine or something was like, oh my god, can you imagine?
Yeah, it was just, I had the Hulk TV show and the Spider-Man TV show.
Sure.
All of which were not very good.
Yeah.
And not very superhero-y, but...
The dude from Adventures in Babysitting that was Thor was like, Thor!
Yeah. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Is that who it was?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay.
The Kingpin. Previously played
Thor.
I
know who Vincent D'Onofrio is in general. I didn't realize he was the guy who played...
How weird, right?
The mechanic Thor?
Yep. I'm pretty sure that's the case.
Okay.
And, there was... I occasionally watch the Shazam or ISIS Saturday morning live-action show. Mm-hmm. I wasn't as into them because I didn't know them so much. But I would also watch, like, the Tarzan TV show reruns on Sunday mornings on the local cable access shows. Or not even cable access, just local channels. Mm-hmm. We'd get up early because they'd be on at, like, 7 o'clock on a Sunday morning. And I would watch that. And so it was amazing, as you pointed out, that there were so few of those things. Yet by the time the X-Men cartoon rolled around, I guess it was... I didn't watch it. I guess I was... I don't want to say too old for it, because I watch a bunch of cartoons now.
Sure. I mean, at the same time, there were definitely better cartoons. Like, I think Batman animated series still... to this day is tremendously good.
I didn't watch a lot of that either. I watched way more of that than I did of X-Men.
Yeah, that's a show that's... It was so well done. The X-Men one, the thing it had going for it was how kind of ripped from the pages it was.
Yeah.
That they were just like, I don't know, Cable shows up, Bishop shows up. Like, that's difficult stuff, but it's things that were current X-Men comics at the time. Everything felt very modern and specific in a way that the Batman animated series was more timeless and more, a version of Batman that wasn't necessarily the movies and it wasn't necessarily the comic books, and you weren't expecting to see, like, Nightfall or whatever as a storyline, but like the X-Men cartoon would do Dark Phoenix Saga. Like, they would just do it.
Yeah, but a few years later, I was all over the tick and definitely Justice League.
Sure.
And I think both of those are still great to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing about the X-Men cartoon that is such an amazing statistic and such an amazing fact, especially to me because I didn't watch it, was how that was so many current comic fans' introduction to comics.
Yeah, it's a gateway.
They watch this cartoon and they say...
Gateway was on it.
There you go. It works both ways. And they were so enthralled by it that they wanted to go to the source material.
Yeah.
Which is a thing...
Which, again, like, because it was so kind of ripped from the pages, you could move from one to the other and feel like you were getting the right experience. In a way where with the Batman animated series, you couldn't go read, a Chuck Dixon Batman comic and feel like you were getting the same story you got on TV.
Yeah. I guess because I was in comics for forever, I don't have that kind of feeling toward other things. And whenever somebody says, don't the movies help you? And they don't, because who seeks out source material?
Yeah, you don't really need to anymore.
You just, whichever way you come to a thing, that is the way you engage with it, and it's fine for that. Like, we don't do well with any type of video game tie-in,
right?
Because who plays a video game and says, you know what, I'd love to read a comic about this game.
This guy. I've bought my fair share of Assassin's Creed comics. Some of that was because of the creative team involved. I mean, it was Carl Kerschel and Cameron Stewart.
Yeah.
So, and I liked the Assassin's Creed games, and I thought the world was interesting. So their tie-in comics were great. I don't read the new ones the Titans are doing. I don't care to that level, but I care to the level of I will read ones by creators I like.
Okay, I guess that's fair. But the number of people that cite the X-Men cartoon from the 90s as their gateway, it's amazing. And I don't know that there is anything like that now. And considering there's so many just cartoons that are out, there are Avengers cartoons and Spider-Man cartoons on Disney XD that I don't watch. No. There's Justice League Action, which I do watch, which is great. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's nowhere near as good as Justice League Unlimited.
Here's a quick aside. Tom King is the best writer in comics because in a recent interview he said that the best version of Justice League was Justice League Unlimited.
Oh, wow.
He just likes the idea of all the superheroes being in kind of one team and then assigning people to go do different things. And he thinks that's the best idea. And I 110% agree with him.
Tom King is also on the most recent Word Balloon podcast with our good friend John Sundress. Mm-hmm. And it's this collective DC at DC podcast with Tom King and Julian Shauna Benson. So they're all together. It's not like separate parts. Sure. But he did say that, from the part I've listened to so far, it's a 2-hour episode, that Sanctuary is not necessarily a book. It's a thing.
Sure, but it sounds like a thing that will be in a book.
Yeah.
And that's the part that he kind of doesn't seem like he wants to mention right now, is how it will appear.
Sure.
Because he only writes so many books, and it seems unlikely it'll show up in either Mr. Miracle or Batman. Although it could show up in Mr. Miracle. I mean, God knows a book that helps people deal with depression is maybe the perfect place for it to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, real good. What a great place Mr. Miracle 6 was to take a tiny 1-month break.
Sure. Good little break in the story.
Oh, man. So yeah, anyway, the X-Men cartoon is so amazing for the fact that it's so many people cite it for bringing them in, and we don't have anything like that. I haven't seen anybody, maybe this is a bad example, look at the DuckTales comic and say, oh man, DuckTales, I love that cartoon.
No, but I mean, if you think about stuff that's specifically superhero-based, because that's, when people see that stuff, they always assume it's a comic book thing, even the times where an original superhero property takes place, and then people have to be told that it's not based on anything.
You mean like The Cape?
It's brand new. 6 seasons in the movie. The Marvel has been trying for 10 years to find a way to move people from the hugely successful Marvel Studios blockbusters into a corresponding comic series, and failing at it. Not outright failing. The books sell, but none of them are sustainable, and none of them create, a huge swell of these millions of people that went to go see this movie then picked up this comic book. And man, they keep trying. Every goddamn summer. They keep trying, and it never clicks. Maybe they'll stop doing that soon. Probably not.
I wonder if at the end of Avengers No Surrender, we're going to have something that corresponds to Infinity War. I just mean with the makeup of the team, kind of.
In May, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Because we know that... I think they've told us that No Surrender is a 4-month storyline, right?
Yeah, 16 weeks.
Yeah, so basically it runs up until Free Comic Book Day, where there will be an Avengers Infinity something. And then I'd assume the following week in May, if not that same week, there will be a brand new... I don't know if it's an Avengers #1 or a new storyline or new direction or new creators, a new team, but yeah, there will be something that will come out of No Surrender that allows them to do Infinity, but in comics. Which, again, does not ever work. But okay, fine. Maybe this time. Maybe this time it'll work.
I tell you what doesn't work, and this is a thing that you and I briefly discussed today.
Yes.
They're doing this... Where is Wolverine? Although it's Where's Wolverine?
Where's Wolverine?
Then the little bullet on the cover says Where is Wolverine? When I think it would work better with just Where's. But anyway.
Where in the world is Wolverine? I think is what it should be.
Exactly. And it's a tip-in page at the end of books. So far it was Captain America and the Mighty Thor. And it's all leading up to, this other... Not to be confused with the Infinity War movie, but Marvel's doing another type of Infinity crossover, spinning out of the Guardians of the Galaxy type stuff, and they're hunting for the Infinity Gems, the Infinity Stones.
Don't say stones.
Just gems now? Is that it? That's why I said both.
I was making a joke.
The Philosopher's Stones, right? That's what they're called?
I just thought maybe stones would be a tricky topic.
Oh,
so
I see.
I would avoid mentioning stones.
I understand. Yes, I didn't get it right away.
That's okay. You've had a long day.
Stone-filled day.
Yeah. So they're doing Infinity Countdown, but announced today they're also doing a book called The Hunt for Wolverine. And when I saw The Hunt for Wolverine by Charles Soule and David Marquez, I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good. Like, Charles Soule is the guy who did The Death of Wolverine. Yeah. He's a good writer. I like David Marquez a lot. This sounds like it could be a cool series. Probably like a 5 or 6 issue thing. Something to really bring the character back and, launch him again. But then I read the text of the email that Marvel sent us, and I got real sad.
Real sad.
Real sad, because The Hunt for Wolverine is not a miniseries. It is a single 40-page one-shot detailing the answers behind Logan's return to the Marvel Universe, which is then setting up not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 different series by 4 different creative teams, each in its own distinct genre. Action-adventure, The Adamantium Agenda, horror, Claws of the Killer, dark romance, Mystery and Madripoor, and noir detective, Weapon Lost. So, people have been excited about the return of Wolverine. He was a big deal drop into the Marvel Legacy one-shot. They've been doing this Where's Wolverine thing, and you've got this primed audience ready to be excited about a new book, and a brand new Wolverine #1 miniseries, ongoing series, whatever.
What have you.
Would be great. We could sell a ton of that. So, of course, what Marvel has to do is take a no-brainer, top-of-the-charts book, and immediately, 1 month after releasing the one-shot, release 4 different series. When someone comes in and buys The Hunt for Wolverine #1, and they go, what do I read next? And I go, 4 monthly titles. They say, no thank you.
No thank you.
It's a non-starter. So immediately, you've taken all the goodwill that you could build up with The Hunt for Wolverine #1 by a great creative team, and immediately squandered it. Immediately.
Yep.
Oh my God. Walk before you run. Don't get greedy. Let those be the 2 lessons for Marvel in 2018. Walk before you run. Don't get greedy.
Even the Hunt for Wolverine special makes it sound like it's just
how did he get back? How did he get that truck in Marvel Legacy?
Yeah,
where did that truck come from?
So it's everything
That's
up
the question
to Marvel Legacy.
Right? Where'd the truck come from?
Which is, a thing we need to learn, but in
my
time,
God.
Often it's very much a problem with the Walking Dead TV series where they where a thing happens, and the next episode it's like, well, here's everything leading up to that thing.
Oh.
Like, well, if that is an important thing or a thing you're like, oh my god, how did that happen? Great, but where do you get the truck?
A one-shot immediately followed by 4 different series reeks of flop sweat. It reeks of, you guys, we're doing so bad. 4 Wolverine books, come on. Help old Daddy Marvel out.
It doesn't even, they don't even necessarily say they're each starring Wolverine, but they sound like they are. Just titles like Claws of the Killer.
Yeah, so...
Weapon Lost.
4 different genres, which right there is like, so who... People just want a Wolverine comic. And right away, you've completely misunderstood what people want and offered them things that it sounds like they don't actually want, that no one's asked for. Who's asked for the dark romance Wolverine comic? Like, at a time where you can't get an actual Wolverine comic, why muddy the water? And then on top of that, no creators for any of these books. Who's doing them? I don't know.
Well, how long did it take them to announce the artist for Domino after they announced that series?
Sure.
It feels like it's not an announcement until you have more information.
There's been times that Marvel's announced a series or a title or a direction, and I've just thought, well, let's wait and see. I got so mad reading this because, again, it's just... I had a number in my head of what I wanted to order for Hunt for Wolverine when I read paragraph 1. And then when I read paragraph 3, I was just like, half of that.
Oh, yeah,
I don't care. Like, if this was, again, like a 4, 5, 6 issue miniseries on the level of Death of Wolverine, but the Return of Wolverine, it would sell so well. People would eat that story up. So instead of giving them that, you're giving them 4 different books about, I don't know what, genres they don't care about. Like why is this so difficult? This is... Oh my god, it was so frustrating reading it. I got so mad just seeing it.
How did you feel about the Venomize event?
Oh, I didn't see that.
That is the...
Is that the follow-up to Venomverse, right?
Well, actually, it's the follow-up to...
Because they're doing a follow-up to Venomverse. I can't remember what that was
right,
called.
But this is also the follow-up to...
Poison X?
Poison X.
Okay.
And it's everything from Venomverse and Poison X wrapped up, and honestly, God, it looks like another weekly series.
Yeah, probably.
We are going so low on Venomize, I'm telling you now, because of how Venomverse just fell off considerably in those 5 weeks.
Still sitting on those issues 2 through 5.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, Edge of Venomverse, we're like, all right, this is what people are interested in, this is how it's going, here's our number. By the time I got to the main series, no one cared.
Issue 1 sold great, though.
Yeah.
And then, so we upped our numbers, and then took a bath. Whatever money we made on 1, we lost on 2 through 5.
Oh, yeah.
And then some.
And then some.
Yeah.
But, again, this is not... Well, they're doing something big for Venom's whateverth anniversary.
30th, maybe?
30th. Right? Yeah.
I think
that sounds right. These are just the wrong way to go.
And it's so obviously a bad idea that it's frustrating that they would go this way. Like, beyond the goodwill of the audience... A sustainable market. Immediately doing 4 different series spinning off of a one-shot is so greedy, and it would be tough to do in a robust market. But when stores are losing money, when your fans are in revolt, doing it this way is the most tone-deaf thing you could do. It's beyond not reading the market, it's just willfully denying the market. We know you guys just want a Wolverine comic. Forget it. Here's 4 Wolverine-ish comics.
Yeah, Wolverine-esque.
Yeah.
Wolverine-adjacent.
This is what we're making. You will buy them. The end. Which is clearly a company that wasn't paying attention at all the last 2 years, but okay, fine. Maybe it'll work, Maybe in May people will grudgingly, because that seems like how most people buy Marvel comics, grudgingly buy these 4 series, choke them down, hoping that in the aftermath they actually get the Wolverine comic they've been asking for. So sure. Okay, maybe. What could go wrong?
The Diamond Gem Award announcements, or winners or recipients, were announced today, and I didn't read anything about it yet.
Sure.
But I know that DC won Publisher of the Year.
Mm-hmm. Publisher over 3% of the market of the year.
Okay.
Aftershock was 3% or under.
Oh. Well, DC definitely deserves it, because they kept stores in business, and they helped turn things around. And they announced something today that's so simple... that is most likely going to make so many people so excited and so happy.
I would have bet you money not huge money, because I don't have huge money. I run a comic shop. But, you know, I would have bet you $5 to $10 that they would never.
That is a lot of money for you.
Ever bring back Superman's red trunks.
They're bringing back his red trunks, and it's such a small thing.
I feel like we talked about this. Either you and I are in the store, and I was just like, there's no way. Like, all of the merchandising, all of the movies, all of the TV shows, all of that stuff is no trunks. They're done with trunks. They're not bringing trunks back. It's never going to happen.
They're bringing the trunks back.
Bringing the trunks back.
And there's so much goodwill they're garnering from this. It's almost kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, we'll see if it matters.
There was a funny thing in, I can't remember where I read it. I don't know if it was some coverage of it. They had a quote, and they were talking about how, DC was talking about how the new costume for Action Comics 1000 incorporates elements of the newer costumes and elements of the classic one. And I'm like, the only thing it has from the newer costumes is he's got a little wrinkle on his cuff.
Yeah, he's got like little ridges.
a little pointy on his cuff. Everything else is just classic Superman costume. Like it could have come straight out of the 1980s.
So I don't know how this happened, but when I was younger, you know how his boots come up and they do that little point down, but there's a second line underneath it, so there's like a gap at the top.
Sure.
I, for the life of me, thought that gap was yellow. And when I would draw or color pictures of Superman, I would make it yellow. It's never been yellow.
No, I don't. I'm trying to think if I have anything Superman that I can even look at real quick.
You have plenty of Superman things, but nothing classic.
Yeah, I mean All-Star Superman, but that's quite.
But no, it was never yellow.
Yeah,
and I don't know where I got that from. I don't know how that got in my head. But I would see people do the.
It's the Mandela effect. You're thinking of a universe where it was yellow. That's it.
I see all red boots and think that's wrong. And, you know, they did all blue boots for Rebirth, and people didn't like it.
No.
Fine.
I did not like it, and I have a statue of it in that form, and I don't like it. Now they can do... I hope they weren't working on, like, the Superman Reborn costume as a Kota Bakuya statue, because now that's outdated.
Right?
Can't do that one either.
I'm sure they are.
Probably.
And you'll still buy it.
Did you see DC, not to keep digressing on stuff, but DC announced a new line of statues?
Yeah, they're PVC statues.
They're doing PVC statues, 9-inch statues that are $50.
Like the Marvel Gallery edition.
Yeah.
I think a lot of those Marvel statues are great. We can't sell them.
No. And I mean, I think about it more as a personal collector. I don't know that we'd start carrying them unless people started asking for them and we thought there was a market. But I was looking at them and I'm like, oh, these are kind of neat because they're a little bit more artistically styled and they got some stuff to them. They're doing a 9-statue New Teen Titans statue set.
Wow.
That's based on the George Perez issue 1.
Yeah.
But each character is its own statue. The price, but they're 6 inches tall. But the price point I saw on the article was $80 each. I'm like, there's no way a 9-inch PVC statue is $50 and a 6-inch PVC statue is $80. There's no way that's correct. So I'm curious.
Maybe the 6-inch statues are porcelain or resin.
No, they're all PVC.
Oh, okay.
I think. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm wrong.
I had not seen anything about the Titans statues.
But they look neat.
Admittedly, I didn't do a lot of...
You weren't doing a lot of reading today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Action Comics 1000 got announced today. Actually announced. We'd heard through the grapevine rumors here and there about what it was going to be.
Yeah, leading up to today, I had thought it was going to be a main story by Peter Tomasi and Pat Gleason, a story by Dan Jurgens and whomever. By the way, I hate that Brett Booth is now the artist on Action Comics. Really hate it.
It's not good.
And then a backup story by Brian Michael Bendis. And it is all those three things, but so much more.
Yeah, a ton more. They've got...
First of all, it has 8 covers.
Yeah, one for each decade.
Each one for a different decade, which I think is neat, as well as a blank cover.
And they pick good people, too. Steve Rude for the 1930s, Michael Cho for the 1940s, Dave Gibbons for the 50s, Michael Allred for the swinging 60s, Big Jim Steranko for 1970s, Josh Middleton for the 80s, Dan Jurgens, of course, for the 1990s, and Lee Bermejo for the 2000s. And then, I guess, Jim Lee for the 2010s because he's doing the main cover.
Yep.
The contributors include Richard Donner and Jeff Johns with Olivier Coipel, Paul Dini and Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, Tom King and Clay Mann, Brad Meltzer and John Cassaday, Louise Simonson with Jerry Ordway, Scott Snyder with Tim Sale, and more to be announced.
Also, Marv Wolfman with
Kurt Swan. Yeah, unpublished Kurt Swan artwork being used, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I was glad to see Wheezy involved.
Sure. I
think
mean, Man of Steel was a big deal.
Yeah, as someone from the 1990s version, I feel like she doesn't get enough attention for what she contributed to the Superman franchise, so I'm glad to see her getting a shot on Action Comics 1000.
Are you disappointed it's not John Bogdanove drawing it?
Always, but I don't know. I mean, Jerry Ordway, that's cool. The Ordster. Action Comics 1000 is coming out on April 18th. It is an 80-page prestige format issue with no ads, and it is $8. I imagine we will have a lot of them.
Yeah, for what they are offering, I think $8 is fine.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How do you think we'll order across the 8 covers?
I imagine there's going to be some people who want every cover. Sure. Although, good lord, man, that is $64 worth of Superman comics before discount. So keep that in mind. I imagine we'll go pretty high for the regular cover, and then some for each of the variants, and probably the same number for each. Because I imagine there's going to be people who want to get a whole set versus people who just want one cover or the other. Yeah. And I don't feel like I want to order like more for the Middleton cover and less for the Steranko cover or whatever. I don't want to parse it out like that.
Do you want to do? We don't usually do this.
Every cover for every subscriber? Yes, let's do that.
Sure. Do you want to offer a bundle of like all 8 covers for a discounted price?
So cover price is $64. Club discount is 10%, so let's minus $6.40. Which puts us at
$75.
58. Is that right? 57.60, something like that. So what would you want to make the discounted rate?
Well, without doing the math, what is $50?
Like what kind of discount?
Yeah.
That is like basically 20% off.
Okay. How about $50?
Okay.
I mean, if you're committing to buying that many, I figure. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
But that's obviously no club discount off of that. That's the discount.
That is the discount. Like you are getting it is $50. I mean, would you offer that to everybody or just club members?
Everybody.
Okay.
Sure.
Because then we would have to order more because you're not just doing individual 8 covers, you're doing 8 covers and then a bundle as well. Or would you just do the bundle?
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant
like is there a bundle on the shelf that's $50?
No. The pre-orders are for everybody, that's all. Okay. Yeah, no. You're only supposed to
pre-order.
Yeah.
It's a pre-order discount.
Yeah, you're only supposed to get a discount because you're helping us order.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if this would be a thing where you're trying to sell,
Right. I got you.
2 covers for $16 or they might get all 8 for $50.
Gotcha. I don't want to. That's too much money to tie up.
Yeah, and I like it being a pre-order bonus.
Yeah, definitely.
You say yes, you want it, you agree to get it, then you get a discount.
Yeah.
You don't.
I think that this could definitely. It's weird how before Rebirth, Action was our big seller, and Superman was a very minor book for us.
Sure.
And now it's reversed, where Superman's the better seller, and Action is it's all right. But I think they're both equally good books.
Yeah, you probably just did some of the numbers for the new catalog. I don't think they're that far apart, though, are they?
They're far enough apart.
Okay.
They're definitely like...
they're never on the same week of FOC, so I don't usually get that kind of comparison.
Action is about 2/3 of Superman.
Okay.
I think that's a significant
Maybe
amount.
Not enough people know that Booster Gold is back.
Maybe. And the storyline they're doing with Booster Gold is going to run right up to... Like it's gonna end at $9.99.
Yeah, it's a big old time travel storyline.
Yeah, with each issue being a different time, just like X-Men Gold, kind of.
Sure. Speaking of big anniversary numbers, did you hear what's happening after issue 801 of Amazing Spider-Man?
No.
Dan Slott's leaving the book.
What?
Did you hear what book he's leaving it for?
No.
The Invincible Iron Man.
Oh.
Apparently they offered it to him a while back, but he was just starting to do Silver Surfer and was already doing Amazing Spider-Man, so he's like, I can't. I got ideas. I can't do it.
Huh.
So now that he's done with Spider-Man, he's like, oh yeah, I got a lot of ideas for Tony Stark.
Oh, that's great. I'm excited for that.
The one little twist is that he's so close to beating Bendis's Spider-Man record for number of Spider-Man stories written, but I guess it doesn't have to be consecutive issues, so at some point he might come back and do like another 18 or 20 issues just to beat Bendis. Like he's like, I don't know, maybe we'll start up with Spider-Man again, or like maybe I can do like 20 issues of Untold Tales of Spider-Man. I
mean, admittedly, Bendis was writing Spider-Man since 2000,
right?
But man, Amazing was 3 a month for a while there.
He's close. He just didn't quite get there.
Okay. He's like one Thing series away.
Right, exactly.
One She-Hulk series away.
Uh-huh.
No, I'm excited that I was afraid Iron Man was like Ed Brisson or somebody.
No.
No, that's...
Not that they couldn't also do an Ed Brisson series. I mean,
Sure.
It's Marvel. They can find some way to screw it up.
Interesting. So specifically Tony Stark.
Yeah.
So I wonder if Ironheart will get her own series or something like that.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Huh.
There's certain things I can see happening going forward. I can see an Ironheart series being a thing later in 2018. It would not shock me if they found some way to spin Jane Foster Thor into her own book. No one's using Thunderstrike right now, so I'm going to vote for that.
Hello, she's going to die. The story's called Death of Thor.
Death of the Mighty Thor.
Did you not read this week's issue of The Mighty Thor?
I did. It was very good.
Right. And, oh my god.
705 is the end of that storyline. So yeah, fingers crossed, Jane Foster Thunderstrike. That's where I'd like to see it go.
Okay. So did they announce Nick Spencer yet for Amazing Spider-Man or not?
They did not. There were no announcements today as to who is taking over Amazing Spider-Man as of 8:02.
But they did announce, and this is another step in the right direction.
So much news this week.
An exclusive contract for Kelly Thompson.
Yeah, very excited to see that. I like Kelly Thompson's Marvel work a whole lot. I'm a big fan of the Hawkeye book. Katie Bishop is great.
Yeah, we in a previous podcast said how great it would be if she took over Amazing Spider-Man.
I thought she would be a great pickup for that book.
But she'll be doing most likely Jessica Jones.
That's what it sounds like. And
which is a great fit. She just did Jessica in the second Hawkeye arc?
Second Hawkeye arc. Yeah, it's Kelly Thompson's done really good work at that company.
Oh man. I know what's happening.
What's happening?
Katie Bishop is joining Alias Investigations.
That'd be great. I'd read the hell out of that.
You heard it here first, everybody.
There you go.
Man.
Guest starring Jane Foster Thunderstrike. The good news about Kelly Thompson getting an exclusive contract means that she is definitely writing more stuff for Marvel. So while Hawkeye is ending,
transitioning,
she's not just doing one book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't sign someone to an exclusive contract and then say, okay, Jessica Jones. There's no reason to do that. So they definitely have ideas on what she can be working on. So expect more Kelly Thompson goodness in 2018.
Yeah, the annoying part of the announcement was, stay tuned to the San Diego Comic-Con for us to reveal what she's doing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you jerks, that's 8 months away.
For sure.
But that, you know what, that Dan Slott news I think is great news.
Yeah, I like Dan Slott's Amazing Spider-Man stuff. I think he could do interesting stuff on Iron Man. I think Iron Man, for all of the attention that it gets from Marvel, is more or less a blank slate. You can pretty much do whatever you want in that book and not have it break the character too much. So I think that's great for creators to have a chance to make a mark on a book like that. I don't think anyone's yet figured out what the trick is to make Iron Man as successful in comics as he is in movies. They've been trying. They've been trying for 10 years, and they have not cracked that nut.
Wow. All right. I feel like there's more DC news that came out of their DC at DC. And by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about, DC Comics held a mini convention in Washington, D.C. this past weekend, and they set up a DC store, but it's more of a gift shop than it was a comic shop.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it would have... One of the cool things there would, like, giant panels from, like, comics.
Yeah.
That was a thing.
He means panels on the wall, but they did have other panels as well.
Yeah.
They did have
they blew up comic book panels, and you could have them huge size on them, like, flip through them.
And their panels were... their fan panels were a mixture of actors and creators.
Yeah.
So the creators could be ignored in favor of people asking questions of the movie actors.
Yes, exactly. Was that where the John Ridley announcement was? Was it the DC thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if we talked about it before. John Ridley's doing a DC book.
The Secret History of the DC Universe kind of thing?
Yeah, 12-issue series. And it's a focus on some of the minority and underrepresented characters from the DC Universe, specifically delving into stories with characters like Katana and Jon Stewart, Supergirl. I don't remember who else. There was like a small list of names. I don't think an artist was announced.
I forget it. An artist was definitely not announced.
Yeah, so it's not
I forget the name of their Doctor Strange character. He was a New Guardian. Estranio.
Oh man, I didn't realize that was who that guy was. The only New Guardian I remember is Floronic Man and Harbinger. Like, those are the only two I know from the New Guardians. Everybody else, even when I'd see that book in the quarter boxes, I'm like, no thanks. Sorry, Steve Englehart and Joe Staten. No thanks. Take it a pass.
Estranho is...
Joe Staten's birthday today, actually.
Oh, well.
It turns out. I believe.
Estranho is...
He's Portuguese.
Basically a gay Doctor Strange.
Okay.
He's very flamboyant.
Mm-hmm.
He's very RuPaul before there was RuPaul.
Okay.
Well, before there was RuPaul's Drag Race.
Okay.
But...
In those dark times.
As much of a cliche as the character was with his dialogue and presentation, he was still beloved.
Okay. Well, it was a different time.
Yeah.
The nation was still grappling with the sadness of the Millennium series. How terrible that was. We were all looking for hope afterwards.
I wanted to make a Lance Henriksen joke,
found it wherever we could.
But I'll leave that alone.
Millennium, easily the worst of the DC events. Even worse than Joker's Last Laugh. Yeah, I said it.
Oh, wow.
I said it.
Wow. You know, when I see that Jim Lee cover to Action 1000, I just thought, why didn't they get Ed McGuinness? For that classic look. Because honestly, this is a very stubby Superman Jim Lee did.
Oh, man. His chin looks weird. His whole lower jaw is not good.
He's too muscular. His feet aren't proportioned right, and his face is too small. It's like they just took Superman and squished him.
But a Jim Lee cover is the most obvious. Hey, it's a big deal. Jim Lee's going to do the cover. Jeff Johnson's going to write something in it. Scott Snyder's going to write something in it. There you go. That's how you know it's a big deal.
Blue trunks.
Blue trunks?
Red trunks. Sorry, red trunks.
Blue trunks. Yikes.
There are already...
How great would that be? That would be the most Marvel move. Hey, we gave him his trunks back. Blue. Take it.
No.
What are you going to do?
The Marvel thing to do would be to have him put the trunks on and have them get torn off in battle and just say, I don't want them anyway. They don't fit.
The trunks come back, and they have really weird things to say about the use of women in Star Wars The Last Jedi. No! God! So close!
This is why you went away.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, it's interesting that both companies are doing what they think will get eyeballs back on their product, I guess.
But, Action Comics feels like a power move, you know?
Yeah.
You're celebrating the 80th anniversary of your flagship character. You've got a ton of great talent working on a book. It's a cool one-shot thing where even if you don't read Superman comics, you can pick this thing up and, hey, you got a ton of great stories.
And you're part of history.
Right. The Wolverine thing is, oh, you thought you were buying this 40-page thing? Ha ha ha, it's leading into 4 other series and God knows what else after that.
Sucker.
Someone was in the other day and they're like, hey, when's Marvel Legacy 2 coming out? And we're like, well, there's not. It was just Marvel Legacy 1. Oh, it seemed like it was leading into something. It's leading into 16 different books. So that's, you find the part of the book you like and then you go read the next thing. And they were not interested in that. They were interested in Marvel Legacy 2. And Marvel didn't make that. They're doing the same thing with this Wolverine thing.
Oh, yeah.
Not only are we going to sell you this one shot at an inflated price, it's 40 pages. I don't even know if it's $5. I assume it's at least $5.
I assume $5.99 at least.
But then, to continue the story, you have to go read these other things. And I get that, superhero comics are a serialized medium. The whole thing is based on the next chapter. But again, don't be greedy. It's so greedy to just assume that you can put these issues out as often as you want, charge as much as you want, release them in whatever format you want, and the audience is just going to eat it up. That's not true. God only knows if it's ever been true, but certainly you can point to the sales charts of the last 6 to 12 months and go, it's not true. You can't just do this stuff in whatever way you feel like is going to fill the coffers. You have to understand the market is leery of that. The market is not just going to take whatever Marvel puts out. The market, both in the form of stores and in the form of fans, are folding its arms and looking very skeptically at Marvel.
Did you see the 2 covers that they showed for?
I did. One's a Steve McNiven cover because he did the Death of Wolverine series, and the other is Claws cutting through a cover, I guess?
Yeah.
Something?
By your favorite Kubert.
Yeah, they're both fine.
I fully expect the Claw cover to either be foil embossed or just embossed or some gimmick because there's so little to that cover.
Foil for sure, I think. And I want it. I can look at the McNiven cover and go, lenticular.
Yeah.
Because it's basically, it's like is it a skull? or is it the shape of the body? And it's basically adamantium foiling off of Wolverine underneath it.
I didn't take it as a skull. I just thought it was the shape of the adamantium he was trapped in.
So I can see them doing a thing where that visual lends itself to a three-dimensional approach.
Or the adamantium is foil on that one.
Maybe it's both. Foil lenticular, first ever. Guest starring Jane Foster Thunderstrike. I don't... I'm sure they've got stuff up their sleeves. I hope, again, that they're not greedy and they don't make the buy-in for these covers too gross. Probably will, but I hope not. I was thinking the other day, all of the goodwill that Marvel could have bought with the lenticular covers for the Legacy stuff just being open order. We would have bought into it.
Oh, yeah.
We would have bought a bunch of those covers.
Yeah.
But they got greedy. They're like, no, we can make you jump through hoops and get a bunch of extra comics. I was reading... ICV2 had done a thing with Tate from Tate's Comics in Florida.
Yeah, I read that today.
He had a really interesting thing near the end where he was talking about being at the Marvel Retailer Summit that they had earlier in 2017, where they flew out a bunch of different comics retailers, some that were friendly with Marvel, some that were not, and basically pitched them all of Legacy. And retailers came out of that thing buzzed.
Excited.
Yeah, they were like...
saying to people, hey, trust Marvel. They know what they're doing. This is exactly what we needed to hear. This is going to make money for everybody.
This is going to turn it all around. And now, those same retailers, like Tate, was just like, I don't know what happened.
That feeling just went away.
Yeah. It seemed like and I mean, reading that, the answer is, well, they hoodwinked you. They did a little show and dance for you. They made you feel special. They made you feel like we're listening. They made you feel like they have all the answers. Because that's their job, and you got wined and dined, and that was the result. Is you did what they wanted you to do, which is leave the thing feeling like Marvel cares, that Marvel's got all the answers, that Marvel can turn it all around, and then they couldn't, and they didn't. And that was why maybe you should be aware of when they're flying you out and putting you up, that even if you feel like you're being as objective as possible, you're not. You're on their turf, man. They brought you into their house. They made you feel special. It was all a lie. It was always a lie. It was a lie in service of marketing.
Did they ask to get spanked with a rolled-up copy of Foom magazine?
See, I've been hearing that. I don't understand the reference.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you because it would just make you sad.
Cool, okay. But yeah, it's so frustrated with this Wolverine thing. So frustrated.
We have talked about what we're planning to do to get more people into the store and interested into the idea of comics, but more interested into the community of comics. And that's what we're focusing on in 2018 is the community of what we do.
Yeah, I can't really look to the publishers for huge new books, so we're basically looking to let people know, hey man, there's plenty of great books already out there. Hey man or lady, there's plenty of great books already out there.
So, like, when we started to plan out these ideas, with the help of everybody who works with us,
pretty much,
who've been great with pitching in and come up with ideas and
for sure
doing stuff, I thought, all right, this is going to work. This is going to be good. And then we had some just terrible weeks back to back.
For sure.
My God.
Oh yeah.
This Wednesday, most recent Wednesday, was our lowest Wednesday in years.
Golly, boy, it was something else.
It was. I mean, it was a low customer count, but it wasn't that low.
No.
It's just that the dollar amounts were so tiny.
Nothing came out.
You know, people coming in to get their books, which is great. I mean, thank you to every single person that comes in on a Wednesday and is excited to buy their books and to say, hey, these are the comics that I want. These are the books that I'll subscribe to or I pick up off the shelf. I want these. I don't want to. I'm excited. I'm excited. New Comic Book Day used to be exciting.
Sure.
So it's still exciting to as many people as came in. But, man, when they're buying 2 books...
Yep. Not a lot of stuff came out.
It does not add up.
Nope.
And I'm not admonishing anybody for not buying enough. We just don't have the people coming in.
I read comics for free, and Tuesday night I did not read a lot of comics.
Yeah.
There just weren't a lot of things to read. It was one of those weeks. It's a 5-week month.
Sure.
And invariably, a few of those weeks in a 5-week month are going to be light on content. Like, no. I don't worry about that for this week. I mean, this week we got Doomsday Clock. The week after that's Dark Knight's Metal.
And I get that.
The Dinner Table is shipping this week.
Of course.
But
our fixed costs are the same regardless of what comes out.
Yeah, and it's not like I expect the swing to completely make up for the deficit of the last week. Like, I don't expect week 4 to suddenly be like, oh, man! No.
It's never that way. When we have a slow Wednesday, it's not like, oh, everyone's going to come in Thursday this week.
No.
No, they just don't come in.
Yeah.
I sent you an email from another comic book store, their mailing list. They sent out a very brief, like, hey, subscribers, please come get your books. Yeah. We want to be able to afford reorders and stuff like that.
We know it's wintertime. We know it's been busy holidays, but please come in and get your books if you haven't.
And we send those kinds of things as well, but specifically to the people that have books on hold, not to our whole mailing list. Because I dare say the vast majority of our mailing lists are not club members.
Correct. And even if we send it to every subscriber, I mean, it's not our whole subscriber list that is delinquent or is even behind in any way.
Yeah.
There's definitely people that maybe come in every 2 or 3 weeks, but that's okay. I don't want to tell those 3-week people, hey, come in and get your books. You haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah. So I sent that email to Dal saying, I can't believe they sent it to everybody. And you said...
I mean, we're dropping a chunk of people on Sunday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that I called 2 weeks ago that have still not come in and picked up the books or paid for them. And it's possible they'll come in Saturday. I mean, it's possible. But as of Sunday, it'll have been 2 weeks, and we gave them all 1 week. So at the end of the second week, stuff's going back out. Can't keep holding it.
Yeah. So, I mean... Those are the rules.
Yeah.
We talk about that a lot.
So yeah, I mean, it's... I don't know how many people, because I did... on Sunday or Monday, which was the 1 week mark, I crossed off... Maybe it was Wednesday. I crossed off everybody who had come in on the delinquent list.
Okay.
And, I mean, it was maybe 2/3 of it, so at least a third of that list just had not come in yet, and has not since then. So, we'll see. We'll see.
Do you have an estimation of how many people that is, or not?
I don't. I mean, a third that hadn't come in, 8 to 10 people.
Okay. Yeah, it's funny when you sometimes say, all right, here's who we dropped this week, and I'll say, who's that? I don't know that name.
One of the people...
Yeah, because they never came in.
One of the people who hasn't come in yet, and is probably going to get dropped on Sunday, is somebody who signed up in October, was signed up by you, and in the notes section of the sign-up sheet, you wrote, gonna be a problem.
Oh, man.
And it's somebody who I don't think has come in since they signed up.
Okay.
So immediately when you signed it up, you're like, this is not going to work. Yeah. And you were right. Immediately correct. But the good news is it's somebody who's down for basically metal stuff.
Oh, okay. Great.
And we can use all of that. There's people who need some of those books. Great. So if they're not going to come pick them up, I will sell them to someone else.
Yeah, we don't need anybody who has any lenticular action comics covers.
Right. I don't think there's anyone that...
No, that was a joke. That was me.
Yeah.
So these are... We've talked about events that we're looking to do and ideas we've had. In a very short period of time, they've firmed up, and along with...
Crazy busy February.
Yeah, signings keep popping out of the woodwork.
Good golly.
We're going to have Daniel Kibblesmith back in on Saturday, February 10th to do a Quantum and Woody signing. It'll be hopefully issue 2 will be out by then as well.
Fingers crossed.
Everybody who attends will get a Quantum and Woody wristband. Mm-hmm. They can clang them together. They won't make a noise because they're rubber.
They'll get one wristband, so they have to find a buddy.
They'll have to find their Quantum and or Woody.
And clang them.
Because we like to go over the top with Daniel Kibblesmith signings, I'm looking into renting a goat.
Okay. I mean, if you shave, I think you could pretty much pull off a Woody.
If I could shave the goat?
Could you get Santa to come back?
Let me call Xavier.
I'm only barely kidding.
I know. I thought about, literally, I thought you could be Woody. Because you've got the shirt and tie, you're tall and thin.
I probably could.
Shirt and tie.
Yeah.
And then if I did a full bodysuit, you wouldn't see. Sure. But I'm not wearing a full bodysuit. Are you going to do a full bodysuit
on February 10th?
I am not. I'll see if Cheyenne can't.
There you go. Knock
whip
something
one up
out
for me. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I don't think that's a very good time frame for her.
No, but anyway. So Daniel Kibblesmith will be back, and that'll be fun. But the. And we've got Mike Norton on the 14th for the Mr. Miracle Director's Cut. And we've got Patrick Trehe. I still haven't learned how to pronounce his name.
We'll find out on February 21st when he's signing it this
for the 12 #1. But the events, the community-based events, we have Samantha Challenger has been doing great with setting up the Women's Comics Night at Challengers, our women-only event, and non-binary creators, and very queer-friendly, queer-positive. That first one is going to be on...
Monday, February 12th. They're always going to be...
the second Monday of the month.
Yeah, unless, with all these community events, if something else comes up, like we're doing something, we're someplace else, these things might shift around. So if you're ever planning on going to one of them, please check our website to see if there's been any changes to the calendar. But yeah, the first Women's Comics Night is going to be Monday, February 12th, after hours, 7 to 8:30, I think is what or 7 to 9 maybe.
The theme is Gallingers. I'm sorry, Galentine's.
Yeah, Gallingers, Galentine's Day at Challengers.
Dal, I have a very important question to ask you.
What's that?
How do you spell Gallingers?
We talked about this, Samantha and I. My vote is on one L. Even though there are two L's in Challengers, I feel like if you left it at two L's, it would look like Gollingers.
Gotcha. I was not privy to that conversation, and I did not know.
Sure.
I asked because she spells it with one L.
Sure.
And
it's based on...
Kent Challenger, a man, immediately tried to correct it.
Nope. Some of that is because it's based on the idea of Galentine's Day, which I don't know if it was created by or at least popularized by Parks and Recreation. It was a friendly women event that Leslie Knope threw for her friends. It was basically...
every year on February 13th.
The day before Valentine's Day. So while this is 2 days before, it's at least enough in the zone. The February 12th event for Women's Comics Night is very much a first meet and greet sort of situation.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit more casual. There will be different kind of party games and get to know you sort of stuff. A lot of what we're hoping for at least the first meeting is for folks to be there and help Samantha kind of figure out what Women's Comics Night can be. This is very much a community event, so it's going to reflect what that community who attends wants it to be. So if you want to participate and you have thoughts on kind of what you'd like to see Women's Comics Night be, show up.
Honestly, that's what Challengers always was. We had an idea for what it was going to be, and the community told us, no, it's this.
Yeah.
So this will be great. I've actually looked at the itinerary, and I'm disappointed that I won't get to participate.
Yeah, I will be there, but only in a working the register capacity.
Well, I mean, I do have a request from you.
What up?
I believe that there'll be a station to make friendship bracelets.
Yes, that's what I'm told.
Yes. Can you make me one?
I will see what I can do. If I can borrow some of those and do them at the counter,
sure.
I will see what I can do.
But I mean, it has to be, like, you have to put friendship into it.
Okay.
Is that going to be hard?
Yeah, I'll have to figure out what that is. But I'll do my best.
Follow one of the girls.
Yeah, I'll just see what they're doing.
So far, this whole idea has gotten a very positive response. You know, oftentimes we have an idea of what something means or is or isn't, and we were always against a women's night because we felt that we weren't keeping women out.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what we think.
No, for sure. Like, that was... Early on it was, well, saying it's Women's Comics Night, or Ladies' Night, well, shouldn't every night be Ladies' Night? But we've learned over the years that that's a misguided attitude, and that tends to look at things as being already equal in a way where they're not. So if this can make more women and non-binary fans feel comfortable and feel excited and take ownership in their fandom, then I'm all for it. The only stumbling block we've had the last few years is that, frankly, Patrick and I are the two people in Challengers least equipped to be able to put on and promote a ladies' night or women's comics night. So part of our 2018 was reaching out to various challengers and saying, hey, help us with this. And one of the big ones was, somebody needs to do a ladies' night. And whatever, I don't know what that is, figure it out. Like, I have no say in what ladies' night at Challengers is. Just, if someone wants to do one, is excited about doing it, we want to give you the resources to make that happen. And Samantha thankfully stepped up and was excited about it, and has been great about getting it going as quickly as she has. I thought for sure we would start in March, but she figured out a way to do an early kind of soft launch in February and then have a more dedicated version of Women's Comics Night in March, which is Women's Comics Month at Challengers.
And as an added bonus for the inaugural event, it's during the sale.
It is, yeah. So anyone who shows up, the register will be open. So if you stop in. You'll be able to take advantage of the I Love You But I've Chosen comic sale the night of February 12th.
I'm also disappointed I'm missing out on the snacks. I don't know if they are yet, but I'm disappointed.
I don't know yet either. I talked to Samantha and had said, if you need me to pick anything up, let me know. And I also told her, if you pick anything up, save the receipt. We'll reimburse you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, she's not paying for anything.
But I don't know. She hasn't gotten back to me yet with a specific, I need these things. So we'll wait and see.
And then, a mere 2 days later...
2 days later, on February 14th.
Wednesday night, February 14th, just after our Mike Norton signing, we're doing our first Challengers movie night.
Yeah.
And we're specifically picking that day and time...
by request.
...to show, even though I said in the write-up Winter Soldier...
Did you really?
Dave Clark pointed it out to me right away.
Close enough.
Yeah. We're showing Captain America Civil War that night, specifically because it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe premiere of the Black Panther, and his movie opens the next day.
Yeah, it'll be in theaters the night of February 15th. So if you've forgotten what T'Challa was up to in Civil War, you can stop in at Challengers. We'll be providing some snacks, but maybe not drinks. So definitely, if you want to bring sodas or beers, you're welcome to do either one of those. We'll have chairs. We'll have it up on the monitor. Movie's gonna be starting a little bit after 7, so definitely try and be at the store by 7.
Yeah, we just need time to
shut the lights off, set up some chairs, and turn the movie on. So yeah, expect it to start between 7 and 7:15, but we're not gonna wait for a lot of people. So who's ever there we're just starting the movie.
How about this idea? We don't put out chairs. Anybody who comes in, we're like, hey, here's a chair. Grab a chair.
Sure,
That way we don't have to set up all these chairs.
Yeah, plus, I don't necessarily think it needs to be aisles. Just put it wherever you want. Sit down wherever you feel like.
We already started looking at how it's going to go up on the monitors because we were toying with different ideas of what to do.
Yeah, we have 2 monitors, one by the register facing the doorway and one back above the New This Week section facing the counters. Unfortunately, it's just too difficult to do both monitors at the same time.
Really wanted to try to do both.
We can. It's just the coordination you need, and if you stop anything,
it's got to be pinpoint accuracy to the millisecond.
Otherwise, it's just distracting. So it's probably just going to be the one monitor above the New This Week section. That's the one where there's the most kind of lane for people to sit and watch. Yeah. So that'll be fun. Hopefully. As mentioned before in the previous episode when we talked about movie night doesn't have a set schedule. It's going to be kind of whenever, wherever. Some of it depends on what other stuff we're doing, and some of it depends on when we have good ideas. Patrick had a good idea to do Civil War mid-Feb, so that's when we're doing it. We could do another one shortly thereafter, or it could be a month and a half. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see.
And then, keeping in with our next community event, on Monday night, February 26th, it's our book party for Tilly Walden's Spinning.
Yeah, it's taken the place of our old book clubs where people would sit around in a circle and have a tough time coming up with things to say about a book. Instead, we wanted to make it a little bit more fun, a little bit more social. So we got our book party. 7 to 8:30, we'll be providing snacks and cheap beer, which is our specialty. Basically, if you've bought the book from us, bring it with. That's going to be your entrance. We want to make it a thing where the people who are there actually participated in supporting the book. So even if you haven't read the whole thing, bring it with you to show that you got it from us, and that way you can enjoy the party. We're not going to enforce people talking about the book, so if you have ideas about things from the book that you want to talk about, please, we'll chat with you about the book. Other people will chat with you about the book. If you just want to show up and talk about other stuff, it's a party. Talk about whatever you want.
Sure.
Yeah. We're trying to make it real casual. And then at that book party, which the book parties will be the last Monday of each month, we don't have a set book for March. We'll have a couple ideas that we'll have people who attend to the first one vote on to help us figure out what the next book should be.
One of the things that worked the old round of doing it was at that meeting, people would then buy the next month's book.
So we'll have both books. It will be both books will be things that we are fine having in stock.
Okay. Just checking.
Yeah, so it needs to be something like that where we can have a few extra copies.
And those are the main community events. And a more expansive community event that takes place over a month, for the most part, is Women's Comics Month. The month of March 2018, every Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have up to 3 creators displaying and set up as if it were a small convention. And of the, 27?
27 potential slots.
Of the 27 potential slots?
Because it's 5 Saturdays, 4 Sundays in the month, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we had
9 times 3.
27 slots for people to pick where they were tabling, when they were tabling.
Only 5 spaces are unfilled.
Okay.
So it's shaping up to be pretty.
So if you're
pretty well attended,
a female or non-binary creator out there who is not participating, we got 5 empty spots that you can pick. I believe they are all Sundays though.
Yes, they are.
So if you got a Sunday off, check our schedule. You'll see what's available.
Well, the schedule isn't public. No, they are. You'll just.
Yeah,
I mean,
the main event page, right?
Yeah, it's just that it doesn't. It doesn't say this Sunday. Nobody.
Sure.
That Sunday's just not on the board.
Okay.
So maybe ask us first.
Yeah, shoot us
and
an
we'll
email,
tell you.
challengers@challengerscomics.com. Put Women's Comics Month in the subject so we know what you're asking about.
Sure. And we have 5 spaces left, so there you go. I need to learn how to put events on the new calendar.
Okay.
Because I needed to
I'll show you
put
how.
Kibblesmith.
I sent you the admin right?
Yeah, which is great because now it linked to my phone, so all those events are on my phone.
You can on your Google Apps, you can go in and turn that off if you want.
I want that. I want to make sure
I do too.
I don't forget those things.
Because I started with putting in everything. Like I wasn't just putting in community stuff that people were participating in. I'm like, I want to be able to look at the calendar and go, okay, this is a bad night to put something on because we've got, a signing or something else going on.
Yeah, of course. So there you have it. This is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast on the Yak Channel Network in Chicago. If you enjoy listening to this, A, we thank you.
Thanks.
B, maybe shoot us a review over on the old iTunes or wherever it is that you get your podcasts from. Just on the Facebooks today, people started leaving reviews for Comics Pro.
Okay.
I noticed a whole bunch of new reviews.
Oh, cool.
And I thought, somebody started this. So yeah, if you want to leave a review for us, that would be great. If you can like us or subscribe, that's wonderful as well. And if you think we're worth like the cost of a comic book or something, not even, like $1 a month, you can head over to patreon.com/challengers and throw a few dollars per month our way if you feel so inclined. And I feel that the more Patreon subscribers we get, the more patrons I subscribe to.
Sure.
So it's basically
all that
just
money goes.
spreading it around, even though, we could use that money. But while the last couple of episodes have been very business heavy and numbers heavy, this was all, hey, look what the industry itself is doing. Like, we don't usually do this much industry news. Well, we do when it's there.
It happened to be a busy couple days as far as big announcements that have an impact on our business.
So, yeah, we are optimistic and...
Not about Wolverine, though.
No. Well, as a character, just not as comic books.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
And keep reading comics.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com. Like Challengers Comics on Facebook, follow @Challengers on Twitter, and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.